Hello and welcome everyone. Live, and today we're going to be talking with Frances. And Frances is our special guest. She's been a client. She's been in our membership community, and I wanted to share with you her story. So she's going to be jumping on any minute now. Not sick on my teeth. You can't hear me much. Okay, I am wearing my headphones, so Emocom, hello. Let me know if you can hear me, okay? Other people who are jumping on our live right now, let me know if you can hear me, okay? Just say yes, we can hear you. Give me a thumbs up that you can hear me. Let me know. Let me know. It's hard to hear you. You sound faint and far away. Oh, the sound is really muffled. Okay. Better now? Not very well. Okay. Static in the volume. How about now? I took these out. How about now? Can you hear me now? You can't hear me now. How about now? Same. Alright, I'm gonna go change my headphones. You guys chat with each other. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You can't hear me. I know you guys can't hear me. I'll be right back. I'm getting new headphones. Alright. I'm here. Background noise. There is like no noise in my background right now. Alright. Now, can you hear me now? Let me know. Better? Woohoo! It's better. Yay. Awesome. Love the flowers. I know. My darling husband got these for me. We are not in our own home, and I was really struggling and having a hard time, and he just had these flowers delivered this week, and he said, I just wanted to brighten up your day and make you smile, and they did, and so I just love them. They're just so beautiful, and I get to share them with all of you, which is also really beautiful. So I'm excited. I'm waiting for our special guest to join us today. But meanwhile, while we're waiting for our special guest, Jonathan Richard, he's a beautiful man. He really is. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have an amazing husband like him. He supports me in all of the ways. He has supported me in changing my career years ago. He supported me with my healing journey. He supported me with, doing the healing lifestyle. He does it himself. So we're very, very grateful. Welcome, Amanda. Welcome, everybody. So while we're waiting for our special guest to come on, I will ask you if you have any questions. I know we haven't been able to do our normal Q&As for a while because my life has been kind of whoop, right? So we want to come back to them and hoping to start a momentum in December and then go into January, and hopefully next year every week we do our Q&As, right? As we've always done. So I actually miss them. I really miss talking with you all. I miss answering your questions. I miss the connection. So I hope that you are having a good prep for your summer. Sorry, summer in Australia, but winter here in the Northeast. So Liz J. Mass says, just think all that support leads to more support for all of us. It's true. It's true. When you are supported in your life, you can do more for others. And I have to say that my husband has been the biggest support in my life to help me do my work, help my family, help me heal. And I would not be here without him. And of course, without God. Laura Dowes, what's the best way to give a 4-year-old vitamins? The best way to give a 4-year-old vitamins, herbal tinctures are obviously easy, right? You can just dose them according to what is written about in the shock therapy books, if you want to use that as a guideline. Or you can use, as a guideline, you can also use, we have guidelines in Flourish, we have guidelines in revival programs, we have guidelines in the membership on how to dose children with supplements. And this year actually, in September, we did a month on supplementation for children, and I went into more detail on how to dose supplements. And Laura Dowse, I know you're in membership, so maybe you want to go back and listen to those calls from membership where I'm talking about how to help a child take supplements. Yeah. 444 Maria says, my daughter, something her ears and now is infected. What to do? Pierce her ears? I didn't understand. Oh, pierces. Like she had ear piercing. Yes. So if she had ear piercing and you don't know what to do, I would first of all apply topical golden seal on that. I would do, some vitamin C, some zinc internally. I would also bring in some, just some extra tools with immune support to help her fight the infection. But golden seal topically, sovereign silver topically, you can use sovereign silver gel topically. That can also make a huge difference. Amanda says, how are you doing? Is remediation going smoothly? Okay, so the house has been remediated, meaning they have gotten rid of the mold, they have dried out all the wood, but we're waiting on test results from the air specialists and remediation specialists and lab results. We're waiting for all of those so that we can get to know whether air levels of mold, air levels of bacteria have come back down to normal. And then we're waiting on the reconstruction to start, because the water actually affected all 3 levels of our home, our where our rooms are on the top floor, our kitchen on the ground floor, and then our basement as well. And about 6 or 7 rooms have been affected, meaning kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of work. So we are going to be out of pocket of our home, like we're displaced from our home for, I'm not sure for how much more time. It really depends on when all the approvals come through to be able to remediate the home, have all the approvals come through because it's going through insurance. So it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. Thank you for asking, Amanda. Crystal Goddess says, where have you been? Are you traveling? I wish I was traveling. I have been managing my family out of our home and managing, everything going on with friends and family being affected by world events. So I'm going to leave it at that. It's been very tough managing all that. It's really affected all of us in a really big way, and I'm sure it has affected many of you as well. But what we're seeing is around, combine that with stuff going on in our own lives, it's just been a lot. So I wish I was traveling. Plane of Fun says, what can help with gum recession? Okay, so gum recession is really about acidity that comes up from the gut at night, and the acidity affects the teeth and the gums. So gum recession is caused by too much acidity that's coming up from the gut. Also could be contributed to by ammonia permeability, right? So ammonia permeability can also affect the gums and the teeth. So what you can do is to, when you drink celery juice every morning, swish with it. Swish with celery juice every single morning and use that to clean out the mouth and clean out the gums and put those minerals in and help the teeth remineralize and all of that. So swishing with celery juice in the morning, with every sip that you take, you can do that. Or I did it with my daughter who healed her cavity that was in her mouth. And we sipped about 8 times a day. I would make the juice in the morning and I would leave enough for sips and swishing 8 times in the day. And I think that that also really made a difference. Also, cutting out, lowering dietary fat can help, and lowering the amount of acidic foods, that you are taking in that can cause problems as well. Jonathan, hello. Where to start with helping people get sober from alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs? The number one thing you can do for addictions is to help people is to help them get more sugar into their brain. So the more sugar that you can get them to eat and lower their dietary fat at the same time, increase their carbohydrates, lower dietary fat, and start to get more sugar going into the brain, that is a really, really key piece to helping people recover from addiction, whether it's alcohol, cigarettes, drugs. With cigarette addiction, there's a whole Medical Medium has a protocol where you put a dark, clean chocolate in a pack of cigarettes, an empty pack, and you let the nicotine absorb into the chocolate. And then when you feel like having a cigarette, you can instead take a bite of chocolate, and it helps to come off of it. But at the same time, you have to increase glucose in the brain to help come off the addiction. The root causes of the addiction have to be addressed. So that's the first one. That's the place to start. Myself, Al-Reem. How can I protect myself from black magic? Oh, man. Okay, so that's a big question. Black magic is definitely real. Dark magic is real. Prayer, I think, is very helpful. Angelic support, very, very helpful. Prayer, angelic support. So calling in the angel of light, calling in angel of mercy, unknown angels, they're really helpful for protection. Calling and praying to God. I don't know what faith you come from, Al-Reem. Reem, I think you might be Muslim because of your name, but I will not assume that. People can have Arabic names and come from all kinds of faiths. So if you are Muslim, you can use the last 3 chapters of the Quran. They specifically have protection against black magic and dark magic, and the verses actually say God protects me from black magic, so you can use those as support for yourself as well. And even if you're not Muslim, you can still use them. I still think prayers work no matter what. These are words that came from above, so they can be helpful in all kinds of ways. But protection from God, I think, is the most important thing you can pray for, and to ask for God's light to protect you, and for you to say that actually one of the things that's really important so that you don't live in fear is to say that you are sovereign under God's law, right? And being sovereign under God's law, all that means is that nothing can come at you when you are with God. That darkness does not have authority over you. Only God does. The light of God does. So when you declare that and say no darkness has any authority, any permission to be near me or in my space, then you are automatically setting the tone. You're telling them, no, and they cannot then affect you. So it's really important to speak those words out loud and to make that declaration. But I don't want you to live in fear. Yeah? Brenda, Muneeza, no worries. I miss them too. Yep, take your time to heal. Thank you. I know. So some of this, I've actually had symptoms showing up from mold exposure. And I will tell you about the results, but they definitely confirmed that there was high levels of black mold in the house, and not just recently, but like for a while. So that was really like, whoa, shocking to hear. But yeah, so it just also tells me that we've come such a long way with our health and our healing, that had I been exposed to black mold at this level, I would probably have been really, really much sicker. And the fact is that I have been able to improve my health over these years living where we've been living. It just speaks volumes to the medical maiden protocols and how they work and how they support you, because I wouldn't have survived that if I hadn't been healing along the way. Miriam says, my 8-year-old throws up every time he eats any food, any no food. What does this mean? Is it his liver? What it could mean is that even without the no food, his vagus nerve may be inflamed, and he's so sensitive that every time he eats a no food, he may be having an explosion of bugs, and that inflames the vagus nerve even more, which can be a cause of like mystery nausea or mystery throwing up. But yeah, for sure, his body is sensitive to it. So I would say that it's viral, what he's dealing with. Liz J. Mass, do you like any particular cough supplements over others for a dry cough? For a dry cough, I recommend coming off of all grain: rice, quinoa, millet, oats, lentils, chickpeas, beans, because it can be really sticky and it's not moving. So you want to make sure that the environment inside has nothing that's mucus producing for these bugs. So that's number one. Number two, I think a combination of the 4 aromatic herbs like oregano, thyme, sage, rosemary, teas with those herbs, the bronchitis broth. Have you all seen the White Lung blog that we did? A lot of you have had a lot of feedback on it. People have been saying they've been enjoying reading the blog. Go to that blog as well and read about how to clear mucus and bugs, right? So when you have a dry cough, there's old residual strep that could be there that's causing that to happen, right? So CD Ahab, what are the best supplements for symptoms of hypothyroidism? I like to recommend starting with the core 7. The core 7 are zinc, B12, micro C, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, and licorice root. And these are great as a starting point, because if you look at the medical medium protocols, many of them actually contain these, most of them contain these 7 as a baseline. Even if they don't have licorice root, most of them have the other 6 that I just mentioned. So licorice root is one that's really helpful as well for thyroid issues. I would bring in some iodine if you can and go from there. All right. So, hey, Walk Upon Water, we have our guest over here. So, hey, Francis, I just saw you come on. Are you able to send me an invitation or to join the live? Because I cannot add you. I've tried several times to add you to the live and I cannot do it. So why don't you go ahead and do that invitation? Carrie Cardelli, my 2-year-old is exhibiting dry patches on the scalp. So, okay, so dry patches on the scalp, celery juice is a good start. It's definitely a liver issue. And you start and go from there. So, hydration is helpful. So Francis, I'm trying to add you to the live and I cannot do it. You have to ask to join the live. Then I can add you in. It's being weird, Francis. I don't know why. Carrie Cardelli, your child with dry patches on the scalp. Aloe, really helpful. Papaya, really helpful. Like you can bring that into smoothies and add it to foods and make it work that way. Another thing you could do is bring in some gentle antivirals, right? So bring in a little B12, a little zinc, a little bit of lemon balm, maybe a teeny tiny amount of cat's claw for your little one, and just do that, and hopefully help the diet clean up. But I would say that Carrie, would help the diet. The diet is the number one thing that will make the biggest difference. Okay? All right. So Elizabeth Fritsch from says that she's been on medical medium for 1.5 years and iron levels and ferritin levels have tanked. What to do to bring it up? So iron levels fall when you have a viral infection, and also can have mercury in the blood that can cause iron to be problematic. So you want to bring in nettle leaf, red raspberry leaf, tea, nettle tincture, and tea. You want to bring in Gaia plant force liquid iron, spirulina, barley grass juice powder, extra greens that you can drink as a juice or in a smoothie every day. But work on the viral infection. Make sure that you're doing antiviral support to take the viral infection out and to reduce the viral load, and heavy metal detox to remove any mercury that could be floating around in the blood that will affect iron levels in the blood. So I hope that helps. Wild Spirited Family. Love the handle. What is the best thing to take when your nose is congested and cannot breathe? Okay. Wild Spirited Family, have you read my blog on white lung? Because I have so many decongestant herbs that I have mentioned there, right? So thyme, a really good one. Golden seal's another really good one. Foods that can really help. Onions, garlic, radishes. They're really helpful for decongesting the body. And micro C is a really important one as well. And cat's claw can help, but there are other issues, other herbs that can help. So if I'm going to open up the white lung blog just so I can read out the ones that I have in here for you, okay? I'm going to do that. And if you haven't gone to it, go to my website, muneezaahmed.com, and it's right at the top. That blog is right at the top. It's our newest blog, and you can read that. And so the herbs and the foods are also really important, right? So like I said about decongestants, cat's claw is definitely a good one, but there's many more that you can add in. Thinning the blood, thinning the mucus is the most important thing. So you have to hydrate. When you get congested and snotty and it's all jammed up in there and you're like, it's not coming out. You can feel that it's stuck back here in the sinuses, behind the eyes, and in the throat, and it's not coming out. It's because your mucus is too thick. So you have to thin the mucus out. So don't be eating any fats. Don't be eating any grains or lentils or beans. Be eating really cleaner foods. Eat a lot more, consume a lot more liquids. You can do cucumber juice. That will help. Melon juice will help. Coconut water will help. Lemon water will help. All these will help to thin out the mucus, and then it will leave more easily. Another really helpful tool that you can use is pour some really hot water into a basin or a bowl and chop up raw onion, put it in there, cover a towel with your head and breathe in that onion steam. That will decongest you as well. So there's a lot of things that you can use. Okay, water. Ooh, I think I found a way to add walk upon water to our live. So I hope she can join us. There we go. Accept. Oh my gosh, we made it work,
Uh,
Francis. Here you are.
this is crazy. I can't believe I couldn't do it on my computer. I couldn't find the silly button. But anyway, I'm
That's
on.
okay. You're on, you're here. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Thank you so much for having me on. I was excited and nervous, the whole 9 yards.
Well, thank you for being here. It means so much to me that you're agreeing to come and chat with us. And I wanted you to share a little bit about your story, Francis. Like, what are some of the health challenges that you've recently been able to work through, and some that you have just completely overcome?
Okay, I may be looking at my notes here because I'm just not going to be able to remember them all. But
Okay.
um, one of my biggest one, I guess, that I had at the time was PTSD, and a
Mm,
lot of anxiety, and that brought on a lot of insomnia to the point that, with the PTSD, I couldn't even make really good health decisions.
uh-huh.
My sleep was, I slept anywhere between 10 to 60 minutes in a 24-hour period. I don't know how I functioned, but I did. Um, Brain fog, that was a big one. So I couldn't even retain any medical medium information. It was like reading the book. I just read something and it just go right out of my brain.
Right, right.
Um, I also dealt with breast cancer.
Mm.
That's a tough one. That's still a very tough subject, but I'm getting through that. Migraines, ocular migraines, TMJ, um, clenching, all those wonderful things, vertigo. My faith wavered a lot during this whole period.
Yeah, for sure.
And, there's a whole long list of things, but these were the big ones that really impacted my life. Um, and then, of course, the cancer was a big one with my family. And then, just having numerous surgeries as a child and, throughout my years in that because of other health issues I've had,
Hmm.
my
Yeah,
heart and stuff like that. It's just been, kind of like one thing after another. But I remember,
yeah,
as you had once said to me, I'm here. So, so that's a good thing. I'm here. And, I'm just grateful at this point where I am in my life that, I can retain medical
yeah,
medium information now. I can share it with my family. And so that's my biggest goal, is to heal so that I
yeah.
can also help my family.
I love that you have such a pure-hearted goal and that you want to help others. Like, this information has helped you so much. What would you say that, and I know that you joined membership and things. I'd love to hear from you. Like, what were you struggling with before you joined membership?
Um, the PTSD, um, cancer, brain fog. Pretty much a lot of the main ones that I had mentioned. And I
Yeah,
will say, since being with membership, working with you and, doing my own research of medical medium, because I can now obtain information,
yes, of
um,
course.
it's like I was able to figure out some things for myself too. And
Like,
so,
so it would be amazing if you would share, like, what difference did membership make to you in your journey?
well, I remember you would always say that it was really important to hydrate, to graze constantly.
Yeah,
And I thought I was doing that,
yeah.
but as far as the grazing, I was constantly eating. My husband would always say to me, "You're eating again?" But it was like I literally was eating all the time. And I think sometimes it even got down to the point where I was having maybe less than 60 minutes, maybe sometimes half an hour, go nibble on something. But I found that when I was staying really hydrated, I had less migraines. I was able
Yeah.
to control that. And it was just, and that's like kind of like where things started to shift, you know. So now it's like I make sure I'm drinking like 2 glasses
Yeah.
full every 60 minutes. I'm peeing a lot, but you know what? I'm noticing that that has been a big thing for me. And
That's
and I
huge.
find and I find if I don't graze as often as I should, or if I go past the 90 minutes, my body sends a signal to me, and it's
Hmm.
like to my head or somewhere in me, and I'm like, oh, I missed it. Even if I miss it, that 90 minutes by a few minutes, my body knows. So I
Yesterday
have
I
to
was
eat.
yesterday I was doing a webinar to help people get ready for the holidays. And you guys, if you haven't joined the webinar yet, go to my website. It says Thriving Through the Holidays. We have another webinar today and another one on Friday. And I want it, and this is one of the things that I told people, top 3 things to do is to eat your adrenal snacks and to make sure that you're hydrating and eating, because people don't pay so much attention to this kind of, they kind of gloss over it, right? You're like,
Yeah.
ah,
Hmm.
fine. I think I'm doing it. I'm fine. But when you really pay attention to this one thing, it can be so life-changing, like it was for you. Um,
Yeah.
what do you really love about the support you get in membership? What causes a transformation for you from there that you wouldn't have, say, if you weren't in membership?
Um, well, I have to say, your teaching calls are incredible. You're just an amazing teacher, and I'm very, very grateful. Sorry for my dogs.
That's
Very
okay.
grateful um, that you brought this to the light for me, for everyone. That's been one of my biggest things. Let me just shut this door here. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, so um, being able to have the teaching calls, just being able to search for information on my own so I could do my own research. I was able to get a lot more clarity on my healing
Hmm.
by able to do that, being able to ask the admin questions, um, talk to the team whenever I had any queries about anything. And
Yeah.
then I also think the other blessing was making some wonderful friends in the community. So
Yeah. That's
I
the
am
best.
very blessed for that, because it's so nice to have the connection with people, because when you're on this path, and not always can you find people where you live. Let me tell you that. I
No,
can't
you
here.
cannot.
So this has been a great way for me to, interact, and I've made some great friends, and I love them to bits. Absolutely.
I
So
love that.
I thank you so much for everything. And I got to say, Muneeza, if it wasn't for you, wasn't for Anthony William and my family, I honestly don't think I would be here today. I truly, truly don't. So thank you.
Well, I mean, I feel the same. I feel like I wouldn't be here today without this information. It truly saved my life in so many ways. And I understand what you're saying, because this information just, it's life changing, it's life affirming, it's life giving. And when we can apply it, when we can use it, and we get the right support, it just changes everything. So I completely understand what you're saying when you say that. And I'm so grateful and also so humbled to be on this journey, being able to just support people. I feel like I play a really tiny role because the bulk of the work you guys do in your own lives, right? But to be able to be there for people is my greatest joy. And I, and membership was a dream, right? We started this in 2020. So 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, we're going into our 5th year of membership. It's just such an important thing for all of us to, I think, acknowledge too, that we've been around, we've been supporting the community through um, all of the difficulties that we've been through in the last few years. I mean, the pandemic was a big one. We all went
Yeah.
through that together, and new bugs keep coming out, and I think we just need a community where we can talk about stuff that to other people just make us sound crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that that also is such an important element of that. Where can you go and have conversations? We need community. I know I needed community when I
Hmm.
was healing.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that you're sharing this journey. So what would you say are, um, if you had to recommend membership to someone, what would you say to them? Like, why would you ask them to join? What would you say to them?
I actually have mentioned IHC to numerous friends,
Uh-huh.
just because I know what their healing journey has involved and what they're doing and what they're not doing. And I've just simply told them, you can get support through the group, through the admins, through you, just even social interaction, um, I, I've just simply said, because sometimes it's not that easy to be able to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's
And
hard.
mhm.
It's hard doing it on your own.
And I think that's where I may have been at one point in my life. I wished I had found IHC ages ago, like I wished I found AW ages ago. But,
Yeah,
I just feel that everyone, if they can join, they need it in order to keep propelling their healing. They need it because they
yeah,
need the support, they need the interaction, they need to be able to ask questions pretty quickly,
yeah,
to get some
yeah.
information, feedback, whatever it is. And, you know, again, I just feel that that connection is really, really important. It is for me.
Yeah, it is. I understand that. It is for me too. Just I feel like being able to ask questions is the key because we all have so many things showing up in our lives day to day. Why am I feeling this pain on the side of my ribs? Or, what is this kind of sudden kind of feeling I've developed? I've never seen this before. Is it because of my supplements? Is it because of my food? Is it because of something else? And um, people will often say to us, well, you can go to a doctor, and they're not always going to have the answers for you. So
Hmm.
people, while some things a doctor can very well answer, some of the other things that are mysteries we can help with and help to figure out a little bit more or direct or kind of, help you think about like, oh, have you thought about an antiviral solution? Have you thought about, adrenals? Have you thought about other things that people sometimes miss? And just doing it in a community makes it more fun too, right?
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
that matters as well.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I will say when I had a surgery this year, I had a hernia surgery.
Yeah.
And after 6 days, I had gone in for my checkup, recheck, and they were so impressed at where I was at. They said their, clients usually are not at the place that I was at
Mm.
until they're, gone through like 3 weeks of healing or up to 6 weeks. So
Yeah.
they said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you, God. Thank you, God, for Anthony
Thank you,
William.
God.
Thank you, God, for IHC, because I just started healing so much quicker than I ever have with any surgery. So
That's
very, very
amazing.
blessed. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Gosh, well, thank you for being on with us, Francis. Thank you for sharing your story. And I'm just so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to have the ability to support you. And for those of you who are listening who have more questions, I'm going to go back to the top and keep answering your questions. So hang out.
Can I
Don't
say
go
one more
anywhere.
thing?
Yes, yes, please do.
One thing I have noticed too, and it's like there are two things that I repeat constantly, and one of them is
Hmm.
saying the light 7 times. But the other thing
Hmm.
I found that when I start feeling overwhelmed, or have just simply a lot on my plate, or getting a bit of anxiety, I will always, or if someone asks, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" I just simply say to myself, "I work for God." Or if I have a question, I'll say, "I work for God." And I realize when I say those things or even talk to the angels, I will actually get an answer really quickly and
Yeah,
things will calm down. So I know all of what Anthony tells us is truth beyond belief.
it really, really is. And
Mhm.
it's life. Like I said, it's truth and the truth and it makes us reconnect with God too, right? Because I think many people when they get sick think, why would God do this to me? But when they realize that this isn't from God, God does not want us to be sick. God wants us to heal. And then God
Yeah.
and these tools and this information that comes from above, it comes from above,
Right.
right? It's not from this plane. It comes from above and it reignites our faith in the above, in God, because we realize that these are tools meant to help us heal because God did not actually create the sickness in our bodies. And I think both physically and spiritually too, it just
Yeah,
makes such a big difference.
it really does.
And in membership, we talk about all of these things. It's like we're not just talking about symptoms. We talk about all of the things. So today's webinar, if you haven't joined it, go to my website. You'll see something saying Thriving Through the Holidays. Join, because later on this afternoon, we're talking about light. And today's webinar is all about light. So come and join
Perfect.
us, because it'll be so much fun. But stay on. I know some of you
Thank you,
have questions.
Muneeza.
I will answer them. Thank you, Frances. Thank you for
Okay.
coming on. It was such a
Thank
joy
you.
to speak to you.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
right, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Okay, so for those of you who are here and hanging out, so Francis, all you have to do is just, I think, leave. Yeah, she did that. Okay, so for those of you who are here, let's go back to some of the questions. And so if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, jump in. So the voice within says, what would you suggest for the best and most accurate way to test for mold? There are several ways, and Carrie, I'm still learning. And before I put out my whole blog and information on how to do the tests and things, there's different types of tests, so they can scrape what they find on the wood or on the materials and test that. They can also do air quality tests. And I will It's a toss-up. I think that air quality by itself doesn't always work. It's not always the most accurate, but I think when you combine it with some other tests, then it's more accurate. So if you have a question, please ask me. We're here. And Wendy said, do you like to use ho'oponopono? So I've forgotten it, but I think it's I love you, please forgive me, thank you. And there's one more thing I'm forgetting, but it's a Hawaiian prayer. Um, and the Hawaiian prayer is, you know, I think it's really beautiful to ask for forgiveness. Let me just find it and see if I can say it properly. Um, and so, yeah, so I was saying, like, it's something that is really, really powerful. I think when you're asking for gratitude and you're asking for forgiveness, those are like the two most important things that you could be doing. The prayer is pretty powerful. So if you wish to pray using that, I think that that is really not a bad thing. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. So moving on. Another question. So if you have a question or I missed your earlier question, type in a question again and I will seek to answer your question. MJ Holly, Miriam, what are you focusing on in the upcoming membership? Ooh, let's talk about that. We are focusing on the practical elements of this lifestyle. We're focusing on and if you're able to, Miriam, come to the webinar today, and we will talk more about how to, we'll talk more about what is in membership. But let me just pull it up for you so you can see what we're doing in membership. So in month one, we're talking about make healing simpler, how to make your lifestyle simpler, how to focus on the most important things. February is love and relationships. We'll be talking about sex. We'll be talking about intimacy. We'll be talking about how if your partner doesn't follow along with you or want to follow along with you, how do you make that happen? How do you build those bridges to have deeper connections and foster deeper understanding with your partner? In March, we're talking about shopping, stocking, and meal planning. In February, we're talking about thriving through emergencies, like the emergency that I'm in right now, or any other kind of life emergency. May, we're talking about getting your calm on, how to really build more calm into your life daily. And it's not just meditation or not just taking lemon balm. It's beyond that, because it will be looking at PTSD, because that is one big way that people struggle. And then in June, we're talking about healing in families, how to work with your children, how to bring it into full circle. July, we're talking about healing on a budget. So everything to do with saving money on the lifestyle. August, we're talking about if you're trapped by symptoms, what you can do. September, we're talking about medical testing and medical treatments. It's a big one. We've never done this before. So that'll be our focus. October, we're talking about flares and setbacks and how to overcome them. November, we're talking about spiritual truths that help you heal. And in December, how to avoid the holiday blues. We're talking about the social aspects, the family aspects, the relationship aspects. We're talking about how to make it practical, right? Everybody can read the books. There are 9 books. There's tons and tons of lives. And I think people still sometimes struggle with just knowing what tool to choose for themselves and how to make that work. So I hope that helps, Miriam. Irina says, what do you think about urine therapy? Urine is meant to be body waste, toxic waste coming out of your body. And I don't think that you want to drink your urine. It's meant to be waste. Ali says, I have a productive cough with a living bacteria called Pseudomonas. What can I do? Follow the instructions given in the blog for white lung syndrome, and they will all help you, because they are all designed to help with shock. Designed to help you with coughs. Sane Susie says, is it okay to have vitamin C shock before celery juice or best after? It would be best after celery juice. Also, when swishing with celery juice at night, is it best before or after brushing teeth? It's best before brushing teeth. So 67688 Bella, what to do for low iron, low ferritin? I answered an iron question already, so I'm not sure whether you've seen that or heard me earlier before I spoke to Francis. I answered that question. So go back and listen to it to learn more about what you can do for iron, low iron. Mrs. Shaley, Diko, hi Muneeza, my name is Halima from Nigeria. Please, can you talk about healing colitis? Healing colitis is often, it's caused by the shingles virus, according to Medical Medium. So you want to bring in tools like aloe, cut back on eggs, dairy, gluten, corn, soy, canola, coffee, vinegar, which can hurt the stomach. And then bring in more things like bananas, papayas, aloe, celery juice. All of those can be super helpful. Irina, Queens Realtor, how did you deal with the mold? We are still dealing with it. And I will share more about that. I know lots of people are asking me how we're dealing with the mold. I will explain more of that down the road. It's still a lot for me to process. So when I'm ready, I will share, I promise. What to do? I need to fast for lab work and blood work. Thinking to drink some lemon water. You can drink some lemon water. I think that should be okay. It's like drinking water, basically. What are the causes behind chronic osteitis? Bone inflammation. It's from viruses. It's Epstein-Barr that does that. Cole Nolgan says, I'm 37, diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve, and have not been able to become pregnant yet. What can I do to get pregnant and carry the baby to term? Oh, so many things we can do. Cole Nolgan, I have a program called Revival, which talks about fertility in a lot of depth. And diminished ovarian reserve is not something you have to live with. It's not something that has to become a reality for you forever. You can heal from this. It doesn't mean that it will be there forever, and it can be cleared. You can heal from this. You can get your ovarian reserve to become back to normal. So I would say add in nettle leaf, do the core 7. So yeah, Epstein-Barr plays a big role in the diminished ovarian reserve. So make sure that you're doing a lot more nettle leaf, red raspberry leaf, bringing in more the core 7 that I've talked about before, which includes zinc, B12, micro C, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root. Bring in Schizandra berry, bring in Vitex berry to help rejuvenate your reproductive system, and then bring in licorice root and ashwagandha to help with the adrenals, and go from there. At least that's a good start. Make sure you're cutting out all those unproductive foods like eggs, dairy, gluten, corn, soy, canola. That's very, very important. Okay, I hope that helps. Lucy M. Kerr, any ideas why my 11-year-old wakes up in the middle of the night and stays awake for long periods of time? There are 8 reasons outlined in the Thyroid Healing book about why sleep issues can occur, right? So I would say go and learn whether it's liver, neurological, whether it's obstructive apnea or non-obstructive apnea, which is neurological apnea that could be causing these issues, right? It could be heavy metals that could be in the way of that. So there's many reasons. I think it's important to understand the pattern of the insomnia. And so if he's waking up, does he wake up at the same time every night? Does he wake up at different times? Does he fall asleep easily? Does he take time to fall asleep? Can he go back to sleep once he's woken up? All of these questions need to be asked. And I would encourage you to go read Thyroid Healing so you can determine what kind of insomnia he has. And that will point you to what the root cause of his insomnia is. And then you can use the relevant protocols and treatment to help him. Okay, so our next question is from Jessica. Hi, let's be healthy and kind. My husband has surgery near his eye. He's very bruised. Anything to take or put on topically? So if he's bruised, first of all, I'm sorry that he's struggling. So that just means that the bleeding went out into, the area here. Is he on blood thinners? Because that can also be a cause of excess bruising. Otherwise, I would take curcumin. I would give him eggplants. I would do, how does he eat? Is he eating a high-fat diet? Is he eating a more medical medium-friendly diet? I would give him curcumin. I think curcumin is a very important one, and I would give him cherries and pomegranates and cranberries, which can really help with the whole blood healing situation. So try those things and make sure that you're also icing so that you're reducing the amount of bruising that's happening. Also, homeopathic arnica can be super helpful. So Irina says, what do you think about water only fasting for 4 to 5 days? I think that's very hard on the adrenals. If you're going to water fast, 1 day, 2 at the most. If you're really strong with your adrenals, you can do. P. Birgit says, I have a sore throat for 3 weeks. I take zinc, B12, C, cat's claw, golden seal, lemon balm, and so on, but it doesn't work. What can I do? So I would say that it's important to bring in some propolis if you can, some thyme if you can, and look at immune boosters like shaga can be helpful because something's going on with your immune system. What's the cause of clogged saliva glands? How to prevent? It could be strep, it could be thick saliva due to eating or really eating a lot of unproductive foods and that kind of thing. So those are all important things. If you have not signed up for Thriving Through the Holidays, the webinar is today at 3:30, and we have a Q&A in depth, which I can do more in depth than I can do here on Friday. Sign up for Thriving Through the Holidays. So please, 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 it's today and Friday. You don't want to miss it. Via Samara says, I'm getting sudden urgency to pee. I'm on the morning cleanse and taking supplements for Hashimoto's and working on fibroids as well. If you're having sudden urges to pee, you could be having a strep infection increase in the bladder. Hey, Navpreet, nice to see you here. Lisa Euler, hey, Lisa. If cavities are not getting worse quickly, is it better to try to heal them at MM or to get them filled? Yeah, you want to wait a little bit if you want to try some of the MM tools, but I wouldn't wait too long because they can easily, quickly degenerate. Keep an eye on them. Do you know about other water filtration systems that I can use after I no longer can buy Berkey and haven't found anything that I can say will be okay for now? I'm not sure why you can't buy Berkey. It's still available. It's still the best filter. The only other filters to look at would be RO filters. But then you have to make sure when you use the water, you're mineralizing it with like lemon juice or something to support you. Lisa, I've been struggling with knee pain. I'm doing sauna, detox, red light therapy, and have been following MM. Could it be a deficiency? Knee pain would tell me that you have an infection and an inflammation, which comes from bugs. So I'm not sure what you're doing antivirally. That's the direction that I would go in. Karina Zooms says, what do you think of oxygen therapy in a hyperbaric chamber for autism? I don't think that that's super helpful. I've seen many of my autistic clients do it, and they came back and said, it didn't really make a huge difference. For one, 62, still bloating after 5 years on MM. Ideas or just be patient with my healing? Well, I don't know what you've done or haven't done for once. So, or for Jan. I would try doing aloe, nerve gut acid stabilizers, mono cleansing. That can all make a huge difference. And I would say that if you all, like the number of questions you guys ask, we answer these and in way more depth in membership. Like if you haven't considered joining, if you have questions about membership, please, please, please ask me, because we have amazing payment plans. We have amazing new ways to get people in who are struggling financially. We've made a lot of changes to it. We're trying to make it easier and simpler for you to access. And so I think that would make a big difference to help you. Healer in the Raw says, Vitex very beneficial for postmenopausal women? Yes, it can be. It can be, depending on what you are taking it. Lisa K. Fashionista, what would be antivirally? Would it be parasites? No, parasites are not viral. Parasites are not viral. Antivirally, you would focus on the core 7 that I talk about a lot. You want to do core 7 and focus on the core 7, zinc, B12, micro C lysine, cat's gall, lemon balm, licorice root. If you want, I have a blog on that. So type in the search engine, type core 7 Muneeza, and that blog will show up. Read that, understand it, and start there, Lisa, because it's a basic protocol for most people can handle that just fine. But then also, like with specific inflammation, you have to be focused on, are you feeding the foods in any way, right? So that matters too. 7688 Bella, is it normal to smell the vitamins you take when you pee? Sometimes it happens, so it's okay, and they could be also pulling out something that you're dealing with. Poisons and toxins are coming out of your pee too. So Cole Nolgan says, what are the payment plans for membership? We have a 3-part payment plan. So if you look on the website, we have a 3-part payment plan. And we also have a new format of membership. Go to the website, click on membership, and check out what we have this year. It's very special and it's new. And I would have you go take a look, because we have 2 tracks of membership that we have created. And if you want to know more about it, come to the webinar today and come to the webinar on Friday. Go to my website, muneezaahmed.com. You'll see a pop-up that says Thriving Through the Holidays, and sign up so that we can talk about this more and I can share with you more. And Friday, we're doing in-depth Q&A. You don't want to miss it. Wendy says, can I join the membership only for a month again? Yes, you can join for any month that you like. My Hege Home says, fell over, tried to avoid unnecessary x-rays and MRI, but need a wrist MRI to rule out a fracture, feeling sick and viral flare after. Oh, up your antiviral support if you're having a viral flare. Increased nettle leaf, silica, horsetail tea are all helpful for healing from fractures and injuries. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up, but we'll do Q&A again coming up soon. I've missed doing this with all of you. My life has been chaotic. If you missed that, go listen to the beginning of the live. But thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's always a joy and a pleasure. Join me on the webinar this afternoon and Friday. All you have to do is sign up once, and you'll get the replay from yesterday's webinar as well. So it's all about the holidays, all about how to make it work during one of the most stressful times of the year. So come and join me, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Much love, everybody. Bye.